Yeah. Welcome to the place where the truth comes first. Breaking down the headlines, separating facts from the worst. No fear, no bias, no agenda to hide. Just real conversations from the other side. Hollywood lights, street stories, what's really going on?
Hey, what's up, Hollywood besties? This is Alan Thompson with More Based Off. All right, y'all. So apparently, Marcus, Fiesty and Tragedy still got stuff to talk about because here we go again. Marcus meets back up with Fiesty and Tragedy, and I'm telling you right now, this whole video was just weird. I mean, it really was. And not even necessarily because of one big thing that happened. It was a combination of everything. It was a lot going on in this video. You know, Feisty supposedly got kicked out of her Candyland event that she was supposedly hosting. Some random man came in this video acting strange, interrupting the video. Marcus talking about having to keep his head on the swivel. APD showing up not once, but twice. Marcus apparently being detained one of the times when the police showed up, the Atlanta Police Department. And Tragedy, once again, saying some things that Marcus probably did not want to hear. So, yeah, we got to talk about this one. One of the first things Marcus talks about is how he really didn't want to film in the normal area around Ant's Barbershop. You know, where they film right in front of the shop on Peachtree. He basically says he has to keep his head on the swivel. So that caught my attention because Marcus, why do you feel like you have to keep your head on the swivel? I mean, consider everything that's been going on lately. I would think Marcus would be doing everything possible to stay away from unnecessary situations. But nope, they end up filming right there anyways, right in front of the shop. And as we're going to find out later, maybe he should have listened to his first instinct because APD is about to become a reoccurring character in this video. Now, apparently, Fiesty and Tragedy went to Candyland Saturday night. Remember that event that Fiesty was supposedly hosting? Well, how did you get kicked out of an event that you're hosting? Make it make sense. From what I'm seeing, it apparently had something to do with them bringing liquor inside a liquor bottle. But the explanation was just kind of weird and unclear. And then Tragedy claimed that like 50 people showed up for Feisty. I'm like, really? Apparently Ant was there as well. And then supposedly this, I don't know if it's a couple or it was some viewers from Texas, apparently came to see Feisty at Ant's shop, and then they came as well. So, I mean, apparently some people did come out to see her. But somehow the host ends up outside. I swear, only in Feisty's universe. Then, while they're filming, some random guy walks up saying he doesn't want to be on camera, but then he proceeds to talking to them, and then he mentioned something about having 1 million followers, and then he like ended up asking like for directions. I'm just like, okay, but then he just said he didn't want to be on camera. Like, what's going on? So Marcus tells the guy that he's interrupting the video, and the whole interaction after that just got weird. At one point, the guy makes a comment about how people do things differently in Atlanta than they do in LA. So I'm assuming the dude was from LA. And listen, as somebody who knows LA, and I know Atlanta as well because I lived there some years ago, Atlanta and LA are definitely different, but don't get it twisted. We got some weirdos out here too. And I mean, I might go as far as saying LA got Atlanta beat. But the whole encounter, it was just random. And at one point, the dude, his movements was like almost like he was reaching for something, but he ended up leaving. So, anyways, but that whole interaction kind of ties into what happened later on in the video when APD showed up. We'll get back to that. So, Feisty, then she brings up her mother, Frida. And apparently her mother has smoked for both Marcus and Tragedy. But then Marcus, of course, says he can't understand why she might have an issue with him, but he more so could understand why she would have an issue with Tragedy. He basically says he hasn't played a role in anything that's going on with Feisty. Marcus. Just stop. Now, do I think Feisty's situation started with Marcus? No. We talked about, her family dynamics. We talked about her past. We talked about Feisty's choices that she made on her own. There's multiple layers to it. But to say that you played no role in what's happening, come on, bro. You filmed this woman repeatedly. You monetized content around her. You've involved yourself in her personal relationships. You've connected her with people. And to touch on that, so far as her being connected with Nick through Marcus, some people got on me about that in the comments about, oh, well, she didn't meet, Marcus didn't introduce them, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I will correct myself on that. Marcus did not connect them directly in that way. The point is, she met Nick from being on ASI, Atlanta Street Interviews platform. Yes, Nick reached out to her directly, but it was through Marcus's platform. And as we know, that's the way a lot of these people connect with people. So whether Marcus directly introduces them or not, they're connected through his platform. And then, of course, Marcus being Marcus, he talks to these people after they start communicating with these people because he thinks he has some type of control in saying things. So he's communicated with Nick before. So that was my only point. But anyways, moving on from that. Marcus has inserted himself into decisions about where Feisty stays. And now we're going to get to Marcus discussing housing arrangements for her and Tragedy on camera. So whether somebody believes you're helping her or exploiting her or something somewhere in between, Marcus is definitely involved in all of this that's going on with Feisty and what her current state is. So also Frida apparently said that Marcus is pimping Feisty. So Marcus responds by basically saying, well, if that's pimping, then every job in America is pimping their employees. Because apparently, according to Marcus again, this is a job. This is Feisty's job. Oh my God, I swear. I think Marcus is just as delusional as most of these people he interviews. So, anyways, apparently Ant also has been saying Marcus is trying to make Feisty look bad on YouTube and wasn't happy that she did another interview with him. And once again, Marcus, these people that you call your brothers, but yet every other week we're hearing something about, that's being said about you or saying, that they have a problem with you. But yet somebody like Ant, you say he's your brother and, you think y'all cool like that. Like, okay, at what point do you stop saying everybody else is the problem and look at the common denominator? Because everybody's always pointing out, like things that you do and the ways you are. And, I'm just saying. So, anyways, in that moment, Marcus tries calling Ant after Feisty showed him the text that Ant sent to Feisty, basically saying that he was disappointed in Feisty for interviewing with Marcus and letting him air all her business or whatever. But then when Marcus called Ant, some random person answers the phone claiming to be Ant. And clearly the person didn't sound like Ant. So, it's probably somebody Ant told to pick up the phone or whatever to play around with Marcus. But anyways, before we could even get into that foolishness, here comes the Atlanta Police Department. And Marcus cuts the video. Like right when the car pulled up, he kind of said something to her. But then he stopped recording and picked it back up after the encounter happened. So when the camera comes back on, apparently Marcus had been detained. And I'm like, excuse me? So Tragedy, he starts laughing and saying he would have expected it to be him to get detained and not Marcus, kind of joking around. And then Marcus starts shouting out the APD. And I'm like, but okay, I wouldn't be laughing too hard. Like, hello. So apparently somebody had called the police about some situation. They described a blonde-haired woman, of course, Feisty, and then she was struck, like I guess hit or whatever by somebody. So anyways, I think that tied into the guy earlier. Somebody thought something more was going on that was going on. And so I guess the police officer basically detained Marcus, I guess assuming it was him that did it or something. And anyway, so I think that was basically what that was. So, but here's what we do know from Marcus himself. He had already been stopped by APD earlier and gotten a ticket. He ended up bringing that up. So now he's having another interaction with APD. And then later in the video, another APD vehicle rolls by. with, his lights flashing. And, of course, Marcus noticed it and, pointed it out. I was like, oh, and saying he didn't want to see another APD vehicle. So it's like, Marcus, you better pay attention to the signs. I'm just saying, especially with everything surrounding you right now. Just because something hasn't caught up with you yet doesn't mean nothing is happening. I mean, if I was Marcus, the last people I would want unnecessary interactions with right now are police officers. Just saying, Marcus, better start paying attention. Then Tragedy and Marcus, they get into it again. They always get into it. And this is where Tragedy did start making sense. Marcus says Tragedy digs too deep. They're arguing about Marcus putting certain information. No, Marcus didn't say Tragedy digs too deep. I'm sorry. Tragedy says that Marcus digs too deep. They're arguing about Marcus putting certain information about them online, including talking about them staying in, the bandos, as they call them, abandoned, apartments or houses, as they call them. And Tragedy basically tells Marcus, okay, but if we started talking publicly about your situation, you wouldn't like it. Oh, there it is. Listen, Tragedy has a smart mouth. We know this. He can be exhausting, but every now and again, that man drops a fact right in the middle of the foolishness. And I think that's one of the reasons Marcus gets so frustrated with him, because Tragedy will give it right back. I mean, Marcus can dish it, but can he really take it? Because Tragedy definitely will go there with him. So it's like when somebody starts applying Marcus's own logic to Marcus, now suddenly Marcus, you're doing too much, or you got a smart mouth, just shut up, or whatever, But I mean, it is what it is. I didn't see any lies being told. Then Marcus starts talking about potentially setting Fiesty and Tragedy up with the Airbnb or some other platform like that. And then he starts discussing about like how much he's willing to pay, and apparently the arrangement would involve like live streaming their everyday lives. We've heard this already before. And I'm just like, why are you discussing this on camera, dummy? Like, he always does that, like discusses like his next moves on camera and things that involve money. And it's just like, why would you be discussing this on camera? I'm just like, wow. I'm just like, it just doesn't make sense. But anyways, right when they're discussing this, another APD car shows up. And I just swear, you can't even write this. And so, of course, then that's when Marcus reacted about that and saying he didn't want to see another APD car because he had already had 2 encounters that day. So, again, message, you better pay attention, Marcus. So then somehow Nick gets brought back up into this conversation, because apparently Nick will never completely escape this storyline. And I mean, I did kind of help that along from the beginning. Marcus says one difference between himself and Nick is that Marcus doesn't have a problem housing both Fiesty and Tragedy, unlike Nick. And then we get into whether Fiesty actually slept with Nick. And at first, it sounded like she confirmed something happened. But then she made it like it didn't. So I was kind of confused, because he said blink twice if you did, and she did blink twice. But then just a few moments later, it was kind of like she was saying like it didn't happen, or I don't know. It was weird. But she did make it clear that Nick was interested and apparently very infatuated with her. Big surprise? Not. But anyways, here's the part that really caught my attention. Fiesty says she was basically locked in Nick's house and that he wouldn't let her leave. Hello, what did I say? When she was on Troy's World, or Nick was on Troy's World, and she was in the background going crazy, I was like, it sounds like Fiesty is in more danger than he is. I was like, it sounds like he got her tied up back there. I said that at the time. I told y'all from the beginning, something about that whole arrangement was not right. So anyways, now we've heard it from Fiesty's mouth herself. So I think it's safe to assume she ain't going back to Texas. Anyways, again, this is one of the few times I agree with Marcus on that situation. I don't agree with Marcus on most things, but on that situation, I definitely agree. Anyways, but then Marcus starts talking about how he was the one that gave Fiesty an opportunity to be herself, because according to Marcus, everybody else was trying to stop her. So Tragedy comes back with, you can't pass the ball and dunk it at the same time. So Marcus says, well, that doesn't make sense. And I was like, yes, it does. Because Tragedy's point is pretty obvious. Marcus keeps talking about everything he did for Feisty, but what about what Feisty did? I mean, she became the content, she brought the personality, she brought the views, she brought the storylines. You didn't create Feisty. According to you, and you say it all the time, you just point the camera at the foolishness. So which one is it? Did you create her, or did she create herself? Which one is it? Like, you can't be going back and forth. Like, make up your mind. And so Tragedy keeps pressing Marcus about what exactly Marcus believes he did. And after all that talking, Marcus basically gets to, well, it really doesn't matter. What? Then why have you spent all this time telling us? This is what I'm talking about. Does Marcus actually ever listen to himself when he speaks? Because sometimes he makes an argument, somebody challenges him, and instead of defending the point, suddenly the point doesn't matter. Exactly. Shut up, Marcus. Anyways, the entire video to me felt like a warning. I mean, it was police lights flashing all throughout this video. Marcus starts the video talking about keeping his head on the swivel. Fiesty and Tragedy just got kicked out of Candyland. A strange man interrupts them. APD shows up multiple times. Multiple times they show up. Marcus apparently got detained. Tragedy starts hinting that Marcus has his own situation that he wouldn't want discussed publicly. And somehow Marcus still is sitting there discussing Feisty and Tragedy's housing arrangements, money, and personal business on camera. Marcus, maybe stop talking for 5 minutes and start observing. Because everybody else might be laughing right now, but with everything surrounding this situation, I wouldn't be laughing. And as for Tragedy, he may get on everybody's nerves and he may have a smart mouth. He may say entirely too much. But one thing about Tragedy, every now and again, he's going to say the exact thing Marcus doesn't want somebody to say. And I think that is why those two continue to clash. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think. Was Tragedy right when he told Marcus he takes credit for too much? And what do you think about Marcus discussing an Airbnb arrangement in exchange for live streaming their lives? And what about Feisty's claims about Nick? Because once again, we still got stuff to talk about. So drop it in the comments, y'all. Let's talk about it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, turn on those notifications. Join the movement, y'all. Let's keep growing. Let's keep talking. And yeah, I'll be coming at you guys on another video soon. Alan Thompson, more based off. Take care.
Yeah. Welcome to the place where the truth comes first. Breaking down the headlines, separating facts from the worst. No fear, no bias, no agenda to hide. Just real conversations from the other side. Hollywood lights, street stories, what's really going on? We ask the tough questions long after the hype is gone. Different perspectives, every voice is a shot. Because real discussion is something this world forgot. If you've got an opinion, don't keep it inside. Pull up to the conversation, let your voice collide. And more based on
watching More Based Off. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with someone who would enjoy it too. Your support helps to grow the channel. If you'd like to support the channel even further, my Cash App is on the screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.